Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to James's Snooker Nation, the home of snooker, and in today's video we're previewing the Welsh Open 2024. So the Welsh Open is a huge competition in the Home Nation series, and it's going to be running between the 12th and the 18th of February this year, hosted in Llandudno in Venue Cymru, and boy oh boy can I not wait for this competition to start. So before we get into the draw, favourites, underdogs and more, make sure you are subscribing. Over 98% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed, so please click that subscribe button. It's completely free, and you can always change your mind later on. Last year, we saw the Milkman Robert Milkins lift the Ray Reardon Trophy in 2023 with an impressive 9-7 victory to beat the Magician. The Welsh Open is going to be the last event in the calendar for the Bet Victor series, in which Judd Trump has already won with an event to spare, pocketing a impressive £150,000 in the process. And mentioning of Judd Trump, he's actually pulled out of this competition. He has been getting to quite a lot of the latter stages of these big tournaments, so we can't really blame him for that. Right then, let's get straight into the draw for the Bet Victor Welsh Open 2024. This draw is really interesting. There are some huge matches. We've got loads to cover, so let's get straight into it. The first thing I want to point on is that there are two Welsh wildcards for this, which are going to be taking place as a pre-qualifier. We've got Riley Powell, who is 15 years old. Let's jump over to the draw here straight away, and we can take a look here. Riley Powell, who is only 15 years old, and Liam Davis, who is only 17 years old. The winner of that match will play Erzenbacher in round one. So the top 16 have to qualify still technically for this tournament. Their qualifiers are going to be held over to the venue in Llandudno. So that's why we've got this kind of round one held over here. So reigning champion Robert Milkins will take on Jamie Jones. Their head-to-head stats, it's pretty even actually. It's 3-2 to Rob Milkins. So that's going to be a really interesting first match, and to see how that kind of plays out with the reigning champion. We've got to touch on Jack Lazowski. I made a video last week talking about his form, about is he ever going to win a tournament. And he needs the points. He needs the ranking points. He's only 23rd on the one-year list. So, you know, to qualify for kind of the Crucible spots, the Tour Championship, the Players Championship, all this kind of thing, he needs to get some ranking points. He needs to go a bit further in this competition. I think he will, because he's got that incentive. And he plays Oliver Brown in round one. Mark Williams, who obviously it's a home event for him. He's going to be looking to pick up quite a few points. He plays at John Astley. The head-to-head stats between those guys, so they've played twice, and Mark Williams has won on both occasions. Neil Robertson is a big talking point for a lot of people. We can see here he plays against Welshman as well, Jackson Page. He's been playing really well. He played quite well in the German Masters, and he played pretty well in the Championship League that's been happening this week. So he's in form. I think he might go far. Again, he needs the ranking points. He's ranked 71 on the one-year list, which is awful for Neil Robertson. Let's be honest. I mean, this guy is a world champion, and he's 71 in the world at the moment on the one-year list. So yeah, he definitely needs the points. I think he's going to do pretty well. He looks in good form. It looks in good shape. And the winner of that match will play Stuart Carrington in round two. Let's talk about Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now, I'm recording this video on the Friday before the tournament. I'm not sure if he's going to play in this tournament. We don't know. He hasn't made any announcements yet. If he does play, he'll play against Liam Graham. So we'll have to see if Ronnie actually decides to play in this match or not. I don't know if he's going to. But let's wait and see and find out, and I'll keep you guys updated if he does drop out. And runner-up Shaun Murphy, who we mentioned earlier, is going to be playing David Grace in round one. They've played 5 times against each other, and David Grace has never beaten Shaun Murphy. So I do fancy Shaun Murphy for this, but we never know what can happen in snooker. I mean, you know, it can always change, and the winner of that match will play Daniel Wells in round two. Kyren Wilson plays Ashley Carty. I really want Kyren to do well in this competition. He's never won a Home Nations event before, and I think he's got the tools to win a competition like this. We saw him make a maximum in the Championship League last week. He's looking in pretty good form. It's just whether he can keep his kind of head together and his game together. He sometimes can be a little bit inconsistent there. So I'm really hoping that Kyren can kind of make it a little bit further in this competition this time. And he plays Anthony Hamilton, if he wins, in round two. Let's not forget about Luca Brissell. He's had a pretty diabolical season, let's be honest. He needs some ranking points as well. There's a kind of common theme going here between the top 16. On the one-year list, he is ranked 44. He plays Jiang Jun in round one. So again, definitely needs some ranking points to kind of get up there and help himself with those qualifiers for the Worlds. So let's take a look at round two now. These are the guys that have already qualified for this round, of course. These qualifiers were played out between the 25th and the 27th of January this year. And the first game I want to touch on, which is going to be quite a spicy one actually, Ricky Walden versus Welsh Matthew Stevens. I think that's going to be a brilliant game. And looking at their head-to-heads, they've played 11. Matthew Stevens has won 8 out of the 11 times. So you got to fancy Matthew for this. It's a home event for him. He's looking in pretty good shape coming into this game, and I think he's gonna take that. And the winner of that match will actually play the winner of Stuart Carrington versus either Neil Robertson or Jackson Page. So that'll be quite a nice sort of area of the draw to keep an eye on going forward. German Masters runner-up Sijawi takes on Andrew Paget in a round 2 game. And yeah, Sijawi looking in brilliant form. We saw him play really well against Judd Trump. I mean, I don't fancy a lot of people to beat Judd Trump at the moment. So to be honest with you, we all knew that Judd was going to be favourite for that win in Germany. But Sijawi looking in brilliant form. Hopefully he can continue that and bring his A game to the Welsh. Another quite interesting matchup, Jordan Brown versus Stan Moody. One to watch out for sure. The 17-year-old Stan, he's yet to do kind of really well in any of these competitions, these kind of ranking events. He's definitely one to look out for. We all know his kind of potential in these ranking events and himself as a snooker player. So definitely one to keep out for. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that game shapes out there. And just one last game that I wanted to touch on in round 2 is Marco Fu versus Sak Surety. Now, we saw Marco Fu play really well in the German Masters, but unfortunately had to pull out. I think it must have been in either round 2 or round 3. I can't quite remember. I'm sure one of you guys is going to correct me in the comments anyway, but had to pull out due to medical reasons. So I'm sure Marco Fu is going to be hoping to put that to one side and go a little bit further in this Welsh Open tournament. So let's talk about favourites. My favourites for the competition. John Higgins has won this competition 5 times. And he's looking pretty sharp. He's looking pretty good, He looked good in the German Masters. He's played pretty well in the Championship League this week as well. So definitely one to watch out for there, John Higgins. We mentioned Neil Robertson earlier. Again, I think he's going to go quite far. We said that he needs those ranking points, and that's another incentive to try and get a bit further in this competition. We saw his interview is kind of, saying in the German Masters that he wants to bring his kind of brutal side back to the game. And he's definitely tried to do that. And I think he's a better player for it. So, yeah, definitely keep an eye out for Neil Robertson as well. A side note, if Ronnie plays, I don't know if he's going to play yet. He's got to be one of the favourites. Just looking in kind of unbeatable form at the moment. Anything he plays, he kind of wins. So, definitely Ronnie to look out for if he plays. And finally, lastly but not least, Mark Selby. He's looking in really good form. Played really well in the Championship League this week. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but he's had a lot of struggles on and off the table, in the last few months. I'm sure you guys can kind of find out the information about that on the internet. But whether that's going to affect his game or not in these kind of bigger competitions, we will have to wait and see. Obviously, we wish him the best of luck, both on and off the table. But hopefully, those kind of issues don't affect his performances when it comes to the snooker table. Okay, then let's take a look at what you guys think on Twitter. Now, I asked you guys who you think the underdogs are going to be for this competition, and Snooker365 comes straight in here and says that first of all, he thinks John Higgins is going to get back to winning ways. We said that earlier. John Higgins has won this competition 5 times. He loves this competition. And Joe O'Connor as one to watch. Now, he plays the winner of Luca Brissell versus Zhang Zhu in round 1. So, yep, definitely one to watch out for. I think that's quite a good suggestion. And let's keep an eye on that, see if Snooker365 can live up to his predictions. T Snooker thinks that Tom Ford is a bit of an underdog. He did pretty well in the German Masters, I must admit. And I think, these kind of competitions do favour those sort of players that they don't get to the business end of a lot of tournaments, but they can kind of have a good run on 1 or 2 a season. So yeah, I think Tom Ford, definitely his kind of time to maybe have a bit of a run in one of these Home Nation Series tournaments. But yeah, good suggestion from T Snooker. And last but not least, Out of Context Snooker, saying about Kyren Wilson potentially being one of the favourites. He has never, as we mentioned earlier in the video, won a Home Nations event before. So I'd love to see Kyren Wilson go far. I love the guy. I think he's such a good player, such a nice guy on and off the table. And yeah, for me, he is one of my favourite players. And it's kind of, I do find it a bit weird that he doesn't get to more of these kind of business end of the tournaments. So yeah, definitely Kyren's one to watch out for, and let's hope he goes far as well. So if you're looking on how to watch this tournament this week, guys, if you're in the UK, you can watch it on BBC Wales, BBC Online, and the BBC Red Button. You can also watch it on DMAX. If you're in Europe, it will be broadcast on Eurosport and Discovery Plus. And if you are anywhere else in the world, I will leave a link in the description below where you can watch these matches. So I hope you enjoyed this little preview of the Welsh Open. I really cannot wait for this competition to start. The draw looks very tasty indeed. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Who is going to win? Who is your underdog? If you did enjoy this video, guys, make sure you subscribe. We have previews of every single ranking event on the snooker calendar, as well as loads more content. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like the video as well. And last but not least, enjoy the competition.